Good morning, students. Hope you all are fine. So, today we will be discussing the topic metals and non-metals. Before that, it is very much necessary for us to know what are pure substances. So, all materials which are made up of same kind of particles are known as pure substances. Means there will be no other particles in it. All the particles will be of same kind. Then only we can say that this substances is pure substance. Elements are divided into three categories. One is metal, second is non-metal, and third is metalloids. So first we will be discussing about metals. What are metals? Metals are the elements that conduct heat and electricity. So examples of some metals are sodium, potassium, calcium, zinc, magnesium, silver, gold, and other property of metal is that they are malleable and ductile. The word malleable means you can beat them into sheet. For example, gold. If you beat the gold, what will happen? It will become so thin that it will come in the form of a sheet. The meaning of ductile is you can draw them into wires. For example, copper. You can beat a copper and draw it into a wire. Copper is used in our electricity, household electricity. We're using a copper wire. Okay. Now, non-metal. Non-metals are the elements which do not conduct heat and electricity. They are neither malleable nor ductile. Rather, they are brittle. Brittle means if you hammer them, then they will be broken down into pieces. Examples of metals are oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. Next is metalloids. Metalloids are the element which shows properties of both metal and non-metal. Some properties they will show of metal and some properties they will show of non-metal. Examples of metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic. Okay. Then occurrence of metal. Where do metals occur? Metals exist abundance in the earth crust, and among all these metals, aluminium is the most abundant metal that is found in the earth crust. We can find in our earth crust the most abundant element is aluminium. Yes, and it is followed by iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Metals are they are quite reactive. Means if any non-metals will come with it now, if come in contact with any metal, then it will form a compound. The activity means it will react with that non-metal and will form a compound. So they are never found in free state due to their high reactivity. They are always found with in combined form with other elements like oxygen, sulfur, chlorine. For example, student, if aluminium will combine with oxygen, then what will happen? It will form aluminium oxide. Zinc will combine with sulfur, it will form zinc sulfide. Okay, so these metals which are found in their compounds like oxides, sulfides, and chlorides, so these are found in combined state, and these metals are then known as minerals. So minerals we can define as solid, inorganic, naturally occurring substances with a definite chemical formula and general structure. Metals, we can extract the metals for our own profit, for our own use. And such rocks from which we can extract the metals for our own use are called as ores. The extraction of metal from their ores is called metallurgy. So what is metallurgy? Metallurgy is a process by which we can extract the metals from their respective ores. Now, occurrence of non-metals, where non-metals are found. Many non-metals, they are found in the free state. Where in free state? Where? In the atmosphere. For example, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, sulfur. First is hydrogen. We all know that hydrogen is denoted by capital H, and it is the third most abundant element after oxygen and silicon. Hydrogen, it burns in air or it reacts with oxygen to form water. So hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. Okay, that is H2O. Two molecules of hydrogen will be there and 1 molecule of oxygen will be there. Next is nitrogen. Nitrogen symbol is capital N, and it is freely found in our atmosphere in a free state. It also exists in the form of compound. What are the compounds? Nitrates. Okay. Next is oxygen. It is the most abundant non-metal in the earth crust, and its symbol is capital O. It occurs in free state where in the atmosphere, and as well as we can find oxygen in the form of oxide, carbonates and silicates. So next non-metal is carbon. Carbon is denoted by capital C, and its native state is found in diamond and graphite. It is also found in its compound form. What are the compound forms? Like carbon dioxide, CO2, like 1 molecule of carbon and 2 molecules of oxygen. So carbon is combined with oxygen, so that is why carbon dioxide. And carbon, if it is combined with oxygen, then it is known as combined form. Next is sulfur. Sulfur chemical symbol is capital S, and this non-metal we can again find both in free state and in combined state. In combined state we can find as sulfides and sulfates. Now moving on to next non-metal is our silicon. The chemical symbol of silicon is capital S small I, and it is the second most abundant non-metal in the earth crust, and it does not occur in free state. That means it will always be found in the combined state. What are the combined state? That is silica, SiO2. 2 molecules of oxygen will be there, which will be combined with silicon. The next topic is physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now physical properties, what is that? The first is if the metals are generally they are solid at room temperature. All metals they are solid at room temperature except mercury and gallium, which are liquid in room temperature. Next is non-metals. They may be solid, may be liquid or gas at room temperature. For example is carbon, sulfur and phosphorus. But there is again an exception. Bromine is a liquid non-metal, whereas hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and chlorine are gaseous non-metals. Okay, now hardness and strength. Metals, they are usually hard and strong, like iron, copper, aluminium. But there are metals which are soft. They are so soft that you can cut them with help of knife. For example, potassium and sodium. Potassium and sodium are the only metals that are so soft that you can cut them with help of knife. Now, non-metals, they are generally soft, but there is again an exception. What is that? It is diamond. Diamond is a non-metal which is hardest naturally occurring substance. Okay, diamond is hard, but it is non-metal. Now, lustrous. What does lustrous means? Having shining surface. Lustrous means having shining surface. So usually metals, they have shining surface. We can say that metals are lustrous, whereas non-metals are not lustrous. That means they don't have shining surface. Again, there is an exception, that is iodine and graphite. Iodine and graphite, they are lustrous. So if I ask, name the 2 non-metals which are having lustrous property, that is iodine and graphite. Okay. Now, malleability and ductility. As earlier I have told, malleability means the property by which a substance can be beaten into thin sheet. And ductility means a substance can be drawn into thin wires. So, most of the metals are malleable and ductile. For example, gold and silver, they are the most malleable and ductile metals. And now non-metals. Non-metals, they are neither malleable nor ductile. But what they are? Rather, they are brittle. That means you can easily break them by hammering. Okay. Next property is sonorous. Sonorous means metals, if you hit them or if you strike them, then they will produce a sound. Okay, so this is known as sonority. Metals usually they are sonorous, and it is due to this property only that metals are used for making bells. Okay, so if you strike the metal, it will produce a sound which is known as sonorous. So producing sound, if it is struck or if it is heated, then this is known as sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous, that is, they do not produce any sound if you hit them or if you strike them. Next property is what? Melting and boiling points. So metals, they have usually high melting point and boiling point. Why? Because they are hard, so they will be having high melting point. Except sodium and potassium. Why except sodium and potassium? Because they are soft, so they have low melting and boiling points. Non-metals, they have low melting points and boiling points, except diamond. Why? Because diamond is hard in nature. That is why it has high melting point and boiling point. Now moving on to next property is our density. Metals, they have high density. Why they have high density? Because they are very hard. So they obviously their density will be high, except sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium, they have low density. Why? Because they are soft. Non-metals, they have low densities. Then non-metals, because non-metals are lighter substances. Okay. Now conductivity. Conductivity is divided into two categories, that is thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. Now what is thermal conductivity? For example, if you take some hot water in a beaker or bucket or anywhere, and if you place one end of an iron rod in it, if you dip the one end of iron rod into the hot water, after some time what will you observe? You will observe that the other end of the rod also became hot. Why? Because it allowed easily heat to transfer. Okay, this transfer of heat is only known as thermal conductivity, the property of the metal to conduct heat. Okay, this is known as thermal conductivity. It is due to this property that metals like copper, aluminium and iron, they are used for cooking utensils, because cooking utensils generally, if you they will require heat, so that the metals will be heated up, then only our food will be cooked. So that is why. Okay, now what is electrical conductivity? For electrical conductivity, students, you need to understand this activity. So what is the activity? You will be requiring bulb, a battery, wire, a switch and samples to be tested. What are the samples you will be requiring? That is iron nail, coal and aluminium foil. So first you have to make a circuit as it is shown in this figure. Okay, you will make a circuit with the help of your elder. You will not practice at home, under any guidance of your elder. Okay, so insert the and you will keep the sample over there in the plate. The sample can be of metal and non-metal. So you will keep the sample of metal and non-metal one by one between the clips, and then you will touch on the switch. Sometimes you will see that the bulb is glowing and sometimes you will see the bulb is not glowing. What will you observe? That when you are inserting metal, then the bulb is glowing, and when you are inserting a non-metal, the bulb will not glow. So this activity clearly indicates that metals are good conductor of electricity and non-metals are bad conductor of electricity, except graphite. So done for today, students. Next class we will be discussing next topic, that is chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So students, read this and stay safe and have a good day. Thank you.